Hey guys, excuse me. Today, to start the video, I'm actually going to show you the space where I'm meant to be making my studio. Now, I know, please excuse the mess because, like I said, we're still working this stuff out. This is actually our spare back bedroom. It was our, as you can see, reading area. Now what we're doing is actually moving this bed into another room, and then all that is coming all the way down here, and then up there is going to be where my computer's going to go, and down here will be the table where I do my artwork. Now, I was actually able to find my folder. Oh my god, finally! It's been how long, and I haven't been able to do that yet. So again, sorry about the video quality. I am using my tablet, which is crappy. But today, at the very least, I can show you some of my artwork. So, to begin with, let me just let you know that all of the stuff I'm going to show you is not my complete works. And of course a motorbike goes past as I'm talking. Yes, I've decided to show the best, well, the ones that I think are the best out of the entire lot that I've done. I think it's 86 A4s. I think. I'm not 100% sure, I can't remember. But I'm only showing about 20, 30 odd, something like that. So this includes, today's showing is going to include my bookmarks, some A4s, and a couple of magnets that I actually made. Now, keep in mind that these are actually, trying to think, a good 5 years old. And you may, if you've watched my earlier videos, you may actually recognize at least 4, maybe 5 of the ones that I'm going to show you, because they're the ones that I was able to record. And again, I apologise about the lighting because it's absolutely terrible. But today is Saturday, the 19th of November, 2022, and the weather's perfect, so I've got the door open, I've got windows open, I've got all sorts of things open. Just not that. So I'm going to start off with my bookmarks. Now, these are laminated, guys, but they do actually fit rather well into just about any book, but the bigger the book, the better. So first up, we have Taz. Now, obviously, the lighting's going to be absolutely terrible on these because these are laminated, so you're going to see absolutely everything reflected on it. And then we've got Sylvester. As I said, these are actually laminated, and you can see that they're bookmarks because I've put the hole in there. Because some of them I actually did braided tassels, and it was hell on my fingers, trust me. Because it worked well when I was living in Queensland, because I'll just keep showcasing while I talk. In Queensland, we actually had a screw in the wall, and I could put a bulldog clip here and hang it upside down from that screw while I did the braiding. But now that we're down south, we're in South Australia. I won't mention where, but in South Australia, I don't have such a luxury. So yes, most of these I did up in Queensland. I haven't really done a lot down here since we moved. But I have done 1 or 2 things. I did Tiamat 2.0. I did a panda for a friend of my mum's, which she paid me for. Usually A2s for commission, it depends on the detail as to how much it's going to cost, because basically I only really charge for labour, and I charge by the hour. So I charge about $22, $23 an hour It used to be 18, but because, of course, price of everything's gone up, I've had to change that. So, yeah, it is $23 an hour. A4 commissions are standard price of 30 unless otherwise stated. Like I said, it depends on the detail, the design, all that sort of stuff as to what the price is going to be, because if it's going to be insanely detailed, then it's obviously going to cost more. Because what you don't want is to say, oh yeah, I want a bookmark, but if like the majority of this is going to be the silver outline and it's just going to end up being a silver blob, there's not really any point. So you've got to be careful with what design you want and how big you want it. So those are all my bookmarks. Next, I'm actually going to show you my magnets. My apologies for my gas, my burps, because I had to make coffee. That was part of my prep. But yes, this one is a gargoyle lady. Unfortunately, the laminate kind of went funky on it, so you can see all the wrinkles and bubbles and God knows what else in there. But I do have another one. These are actually stuck on the side of my computer tower, so I'll move them out of the way because I don't want it to stuff up anything on there. This one is also a magnet, and the size for these is actually A5. Now, I'll actually show you the difference between sizes in a minute. I couldn't find any of my A2s, so I can't really show you the size difference for that. But yeah, these are A5s. I'm not putting a size on the bookmarks because that's just ridiculous. But now I'll move on to the laminated A4s. As you can see, this is Hulk. Now, if I go with one of my magnets again, you can see that the magnet is about half the size of Hulk. So the higher in number you go, the smaller it is. So if you went with A6, it'd be half the size of one of the magnets. So yeah, this one was actually when I was doing markets in Queensland. I had a lady come up and ask me if I could do this, an angel, which you'll see in a minute, and Thor. But I tried to do Thor, and it just had way too much detail for the template that I found. Now, I know many of you are probably wondering, what the heck is a template? Templates are basically, I find colouring in pages online, print them off, and then it takes 3 tracings to get onto the black card. Enough for me to be able to see it anyway. Then I colour it, and then I do the outline, and then if requested or whatever, I do a laminate. I'd have my own laminator. But anyway, more laminated ones. This is obviously Bulbasaur, for anyone who loves Pokemon. Now, I do actually have 2 copies of Bulbasaur, but the other one is not laminated and his eyes are red. This one's just plain black for his eyes. But the other one has actually got red on his eyes. Now, just gotta make sure they're not stuck together. I've got this one, which is obviously an eagle. Now, I actually did this in black for a friend once because he's in Australia we have what's called AFL, which is Australian Football League. It's not like soccer, it's not like rugby, union or league. But if you've ever heard of it, this friend of mine was going, he barracks for the Adelaide Crows. So of course I had to do a grey black. So I did that for his birthday a few years ago. So this, but instead of the white, you've got black. But anyway, moving on. My prep for the video today was to make a coffee, have a cigarette. I know it's a bad habit. And to take all of these out of their protective sleeves. Now, this one, the unicorn, is actually my only hand-drawn piece so far. And yeah, I had to take them out of their sleevey things because they're all getting stuck together, especially the laminated ones. And it makes it so much more difficult to try and showcase something when they're stuck together. Here we go. This one is the angel that I had the lady ask if I could do. This is also a video, or is it two? I think there's 1 or 2 videos for this one on my YouTube. So if you haven't seen it before, I suggest you go have a look, because it actually shows you the colouring and the outlining process. And my crappy editing skills. See, coffee does not affect me like it does everyone else. Someone else goes and has a coffee and they feel so much better. I have coffee and it does bugger all. Anyway, now as you can see, this one is a bigger version of the purple magnet. Whoop. But it's in red, and let's see if I can, 2016. So this is actually 6 years old. And I have yet to sell the damn thing. All of these ones I made for markets, I made for my online store, which is my Facebook page, which is clearly linked. But yeah, I haven't been able to sell that much. I've had maybe 2 or 3 commissions, but they've been A4s, which are the size I'm showing you now. I've had 1 A2 commission, that was the one that my mum asked me to do for her, which was a panda. Yeah, and everything else has just been off my own back. So all of these that I'm showing you today, I've done off my own back and have not been able to sell. I've sold a couple of Pokemon ones when I was still in Queensland. I've sold 1 bookmark since I moved back down here, and that was 4 years ago, and I sold it, pretty sure it was that year, in 2018. So, but anyway, moving on. As you can see, I do enjoy the colour purple, and I do enjoy dragons. But for this one, I actually went and did a reverse for the head, and did a green one. Now this one, I believe I did freehand the head. So this is freehand, but the rest of it is template. So if I go back to this one, and clearly this one is actually outlined in gold, with the exception of certain areas that you can see. Whereas the green one is got, no, that one's outlined in gold too. I'm sorry. So yeah, there's a couple of dragons. I do have more dragons, but I figured, well, these ones are the best ones, in my opinion. Next up, we have Thumper. Now, I have been asked before about copyright, especially doing, you know, Disney and Pokemon and goodness knows what else. Basically, my explanation to everybody is, if it's got a colouring page online, especially if it's on their actual website, like Pokemon or Disney or Marvel, Nintendo, whatever the case may be, if they've got an official colouring book and you use that as a template, then you're less likely to get in trouble with the whole copyright laws. And not only that, these aren't actually colour accurate, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. Now, these ones are not laminated. The best way to tell is that the laminated ones sound like a wobble board. If you don't know what a wobble board is, Google it. But yeah, this one's another dragon. Sometimes you honestly cannot tell what exactly it is until you get told what it is. But here you can definitely see the outline. I use silver pen for that. And I actually use pastel to colour. I've had many people think that I paint, which I haven't done for years. Here we go, we've got some Pokemon now. This one's obviously Flareon. And this one is from 2017. So, yeah, the actual colour is pastel, the outline is silver, and to make sure that it doesn't smudge, because clearly you'd be able to see and there's nothing there, is actually hairspray. You'd be surprised how versatile hairspray is. But yeah, just so that they don't smudge, and when I'm colouring them, if I'm going from, say, the tail to the head, which I don't, then I'd actually use a piece of paper and cover that while I'm colouring this bit. So the best way to make sure you don't smudge your work is to use a scrap piece of paper, because then that way your hand's on the paper and you're less likely to smudge it. This one is Dratini? Yeah, Dratini. I thought it was Dragonair. Dragonair's got balls on the tail. And that's coming up in a minute. But yeah, most of my stuff is actually Pokemon, for obvious reasons. And dragons, for obvious reasons. And then there's Marowak. Step it back a bit. Now, don't mind if you hear anything weird in the background. It's probably my neighbour. Oh no, I think they're stuck together. Ah, there we go. Okay. This one's Dragonair. It's got balls on the tail. Anyway. So yeah, I made a whole bunch of these back in 2017 because that's when Pokemon Go started, and it's also around the same time I started the business. And then I went on hiatus for a bit. Now, I also have two of this guy. They're exactly the same, not laminated, no nothing. They're just this. So I've got two copies of that. And I also have 2 copies of Mew. And I know the videos are not the best quality, but still. Now, we did get Silver Tempest ETBs yesterday. We did a pre-order at my local EB Games. And got a text message yesterday to say that it had arrived and that I could go pick it up or finish paying for it, whatever. But we finished paying for it a couple of days beforehand. So my partner went and got them after work yesterday. And trust me, the temptation to open them for you today is so huge. But because I promised Osmorph that we would open them together, it's got to wait until he's not working, which is going to be either Monday or Tuesday. And like I said, today is Saturday. So it's still 2 days away. So if you're patient, and yes, we will be sharing codes from the ETBs. But I'm so excited to be able to open an ETB for you guys. And it's the newest set and everything. We're even thinking of getting ETBs for Crown Zenith, which comes out on the 20th of January next year. So we're hoping we can get that from PokeCards instead of EB Games, because they tend to have specials and it's a lot cheaper to get it from PokeCards Australia than to get it from EB Games. Main reason being is that the ones that we got from EB Games are $80. The ones that are at PokeCards Australia at the moment for the Silver Tempest is $65, and that's in Australian. Before anyone asks me in the comments, it is Australian dollars. But yeah, so I'm hoping that the majority of the stuff that we get now is going to be from PokeCards. But we're also planning a few trips to Adelaide next year. And we're going to be raiding Shin Tokyo. In other words, we're going to go and spend as much money as we can there without making ourselves poor. So maybe a couple of $100. Again, Australian. Next up, I've actually got some Hayao Miyazaki. And if you don't know who that is, at the very least, you should know who Studio Ghibli, or Ghibli, whichever way you pronounce it. You should know what that is. Now, this one's kind of obvious. if you've watched the movies. This is Ponyo. Not my favourite character. My favourite one, for some reason, I can't find it. And that is actually from the movie Spirited Away. I actually did Chihiro and Haku in his dragon form. If I ever find it, I promise I will show it to you. But at this point in time, I have no idea where it is. It's probably still out in my shed. Anyway, Studio Ghibli mascot, Totoro. And this is also from 2017. Now, if you're a Nickelodeon fan, you should know who this guy is, and the next one. If you don't, I'm not giving it away. You'll just have to Google it. Yeah, previous guy and this guy are in the same TV show. Surely you should know who this guy is, even if you don't know who the other one is. Now, I know this is a lot that I'm going through, guys, but I'm trying to go as fast as possible without boring you stupid. More Pokemon. That was Charmeleon. And then we've got Charmander. Char. Sorry, my voices are terrible. Now, this is one of my favourite ones that I actually did. This one is Venusaur. Also from 2017. Next we have Wartortle. Now obviously these are not in order, Pokedex or otherwise. They weren't even in order in my folder. That's how bad it was. This is one of a very popular one, and it's obviously Charizard. I had to do this on an A5, and oh my god, I went absolutely crazy. Because as I pointed out, A5s are smaller than these. It's half the size of an A4. And I had to put this guy on something that small. Hopefully I don't have to do that ever again. Because it would drive me absolutely insane. I mean, I'm crazy enough as it is, but yeah. Next up we have Ninetales. Now this is what I mean by it's not colour accurate. Because in the TCG and in the anime, Ninetales is actually sort of an off-white beige colour. Whereas here, I've made it white with yellow highlights. I'll just move it a bit closer so you can see. And obviously my colouring is not 100%, but at least I'm in the lines. Next, we have some more Pokemon. Yep, okay. Vulpix. Now, I do actually have a shiny version of this, mainly because after we moved down to South Australia, I wanted to keep up with doing the artwork. And I didn't have my full supply of pastels, so I had to use some really crappy ones, and I wasn't too happy about it. But all the same, I am going to show it now. Next up we have Eevee. I don't have many Eeveelutions at the moment. Like I said, I've got Eevee, I've got Flareon, I don't think I've got Jolteon or Vaporeon, but I do have an A2 Eeveelutions one, and I am definitely going to show you guys that one when I find it. And that has all of them. I think I missed out on Sylveon and one other one, but I can't remember what one it is. But anyway, next up is Dragonite. Now look at those eyes. Don't they just look really creepy? Creepy Dragonite. I don't know why they turned out so creepy looking, but I'm moving on so I don't freak anyone else out besides myself. Next up we have Cubone. Now we had Marowak earlier. This is obviously the first version. Marowak is the evolution of Cubone. And next up we have Raichu. which is obviously the evolution of Pikachu, who we had earlier. Although I think I was just jabbering away for that one. I apologise if you missed it. If anything, just go back. Next up we have Lapras, or Lapras, whichever way you wish to pronounce it. Now, because these ones are not laminated, sometimes they bend in the middle, but laminating certainly does help prevent damage. Next up we've got Ivysaur. Now, obviously, this is still all backwards to you guys, because I still haven't figured out how to right the camera, besides actually having it the right way around. But yeah, I'll sort it out at some point. Blastoise. I must admit, Blastoise is one of my favourite ones, but he's not the favourite. The favourite is coming up next, and that would be Ponyta. Now, my favourite version of Ponyta is actually the Galarian form, because it looks like a unicorn, and as you well know by now, I am a huge fan of unicorns. So yes, definitely love Galarian Ponyta. I even like the shiny version, because it's blue flames instead of the orange and yellow and whatnot. This is one of the most basic ones. You guys probably know who this fella is. It's Onix. And he's huge. And thankfully, mostly one colour. At least this one, it's fairly hard to stuff up something like this when it's one colour, very basic. I mean, you can't really see his eyes very well, unless it's, like, angled the right way. But, hey, it still works. You know who it is. Next up, we have Cider. Now, I don't mind Cider as well. Anything that's like dragon or flying or horse, I'll go for that one. Next up, speaking of horses and unicorns and whatnot, look at that, it's Rapidash. And Rapidash actually does have the unicorn horn. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this particular one that I've done, because it just doesn't quite look right, and I don't know why. I don't know what it is that's putting me off. I mean, at least with Dragonite you can tell, because he's got creepy eyes. But with the Rapidash, I don't know what it is. It just doesn't quite look right. Anyway, here's Snorlax. Again, not colour accurate, but you can tell who it is. And if I angle it right, you can actually see his face. Not that he's really got much of a face. Now, here we are. This is my version of Shiny Vulpix. Now, as you can see, the yellow up here is fine, but the yellow down here, it looks more green. And the feet are green. The belly's green. The ears, inside of the ears are green. It just, yeah, it did not sit very well for those pastels. I mean, the yellow bit up the top, yeah, that was fine. But this yellow, absolutely terrible. And yeah, obviously there's green for his feet. But yeah, I mean, at least I've got a shiny. If anyone wants it, it's, for them, $10 Australian plus $5 postage. That's all that is. Now, here's another one that I actually like the look of. This one was actually suggested to me on my Facebook page. And it was actually my personal page that this one was suggested on. Because I don't mind asking my friends for help, for inspiration. And that was one of the ones that was suggested. Here's one of my other favourites, Yoshi. I also have a Yoshi Family A2. Again, when I find it, I'll show you. But, yeah, at the moment, all my A2s are somewhere. I just don't know where exactly. But yeah, I've got all the different colours of the Yoshis. Oh, geez, I just realised it looks like he's got a flat tire. My bad. So yeah, there's that. Now, I'm pretty sure this is the last one. And that is my mascot. And that is Unicorn. It's purple. It's a unicorn. He's my mascot. When did I do that? 2017. What do you know? So, yeah, you can actually find him on my Facebook page. He's the actual stuffy is on top of my computer monitor for my profile picture, and I'm pretty sure this guy is the cover photo. Not 100% sure. As a matter of fact, I can check. I'm at my computer. Yes, he is in the background. Okay, but he's not outlined. So if you want to go and have a look at what I actually have for sale, there is a folder on my Facebook page, and you can message me there and let me know what it is that you want, how many you want of it, where you are, all that sort of stuff. And at the moment, I'm only accepting PayPal because I have no idea. Well, internationally, I'm accepting PayPal. For Australians, I also accept bank transfer. But at the moment, I'm only doing PayPal because at least then that way I can figure out, okay, how much am I getting from PayPal and how much am I getting from other sources. I also have some business cards. Don't have many, but I can see about getting some more. My actual phone number is on the back, which I will not show in a video, because this was when I was in Queensland. I have to get rid of that. I have to change that from Queensland to South Australia. But yes, here you are. These are my business cards. If you want any sent to you when you make an order, just let me know when you make your order if you want some business cards. So for today, that is everything, and my god, it was a long one. I apologize for the length, and I can't edit, unfortunately, at this point because I have no idea how to. So like, subscribe, share the living heck out of this because I really want to see about doing a live video for you guys, hopefully a Pokemon opening. But I need to be at 50 subscribers to do that. So if you can share, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbors, whatever. Just share, like, subscribe, all the rest of it. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. In the meantime, I will see you Monday.